John Torrieri. I live in the Hudson Valley, and I just went to Athens for a month through the Apex Art Fellowship program. My experience in the fellowship was, overall, it was a very good experience. I definitely had, some highs and lows, I think, as is expected. When you're sort of sent to a country that you don't know the language and you don't really know anybody, there can be difficult times, but there's obviously a lot of amazing things to discover, new people to meet, new places to see, tons of new experiences. So it was a great experience, yeah, for sure.
What, were some of the fun things in your experience?
Some of the stuff that I don't normally do, as well as the people I met, were probably some of the, the highlights. The local contacts that were there for me, that I've met, that were helping arrange my schedule. It was great to meet them. I know Lise and Sasha, and things like taking a dance lesson or going to the opera, things that I don't do here. That was kind of nice. Even cooking class and things, getting more into the local culture. Those things obviously were great too. But meeting the people is, I feel like a real way to get the culture. So that was probably some of the highlights for me. Some that stand out were probably some of the ones I just mentioned, as well as taking a class on iconography, the drawing and painting in that old Byzantine style, which is something that I've always loved the way that looked. That was nice. The cooking class was great, and cooking with a local person as well as some other travelers. Everybody coming together to cook that meal, and thankfully it turned out pretty delicious. But like I said, also meeting the local people, local contacts, as well as their, friends and everything those were definitely the highlights, going out and really experiencing the city as close to being a local as possible, as opposed to doing more of the touristy things. Challenging things about the fellowship, the language was definitely a barrier, I felt. Even though, if you're Greek, probably the second language you speak is English. Probably a lot of them did, but, you still don't want to go there like the big dumb Americans and just force English on them. So you want to at least make an effort. But sometimes that can be difficult for an introvert. Finding some of the places were difficult, even though you have the address and you're looking at Google, you're walking around the building like, okay, I'm here, but I'm not here. Where is it? And you don't expect to find a Buddhist temple inside somebody's apartment on the 15th floor or something. And there were also just logistical things where several things you showed up for and they were either canceled or they weren't happening there in the first place, or things got canceled for every reason under the sun, pretty much, you can imagine. Whether it was bad weather coming and the ferry gets canceled, the power's out at the museum. You call somebody and they're like, "Who are you? I don't remember this. This must have been scheduled 3 months ago. I didn't put it on my calendar." To my husband just had surgery. We're not on the island. To this was supposed to actually take place in November, but the way the dating is written, the European way, somebody put it on the schedule thinking it was October. Vice versa. It's like pretty much anything under the sun. Those are some of the challenges, but you learn to take them in stride, and it doesn't ultimately detract from it. But I think the language and just trying to meet people was difficult because of the language, and just the way people go out there too. Is everybody's sitting at tables, so it's not like in New York you go out to a bar and you can just sort of maybe casually strike up a conversation with somebody. It's hard to just go sit at somebody's table and start speaking English to them, and there's several layers of difficulty there. But other than that, it was, you just try and hope that you succeed. Well, I mean, the biggest difference with this fellowship is that you can't create art. So you're there and you're wanting to create art, and you can't. So you have to find a way to then fill that time and say, okay, well, how can I do something meaningful with this time that, in the back of your mind thinking, I can do something that maybe then when I get home I'll think about this and create some art based on it or something. So I think that was the biggest thing, that, Apex Art really wasn't asking for anything in return, which was, amazing and liberating, I think, in many ways. Things from this experience that I'll take with me, I think I'm still figuring that out in a lot of ways. I mean, I always think I'm going to come home and be this completely different person, and it's much more subtle than that and doesn't necessarily reveal itself right away. Um, because it's this long month thing, and then you come home and you're back in your home country, and all those responsibilities are waiting for you. You start diving into them and sort of forget that. But I think, as I continue to draw on those experiences, there are probably subtle changes that are happening. I'm certainly drinking way more coffee this past week than I was prior to going, because it's the entire culture there is, you can't turn around and seeing 16 coffee shops. So, little things like that. And you stop to have a cup of coffee and you start thinking about, it takes you back to the experiences. And I'm sure, your way of thinking there, or maybe, just, hey, I need to relax for at least, 5 minutes here while I drink this coffee, which is, here it's too easy to get sucked into 90 miles an hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So hopefully I can bring some of that back. But like I said, I think it's still sort of playing out. Yeah, I think this trip will definitely influence my art and practice going forward. Even though I wasn't supposed to create art there, I still got the opportunity to meet with artists and, see artistic output. So I think I will, we all make art in our own way, but seeing the end result also, typically is very different as well. So seeing those and meeting the artist, I think that will ultimately, next time I sit down to really create something, I think I'll think about those people I've met, the way they said they created art, the output they had, and then see, is that something that's going to permeate my process? I think yes. I think just by stopping and thinking about it, it will change my process a little bit. But I think also a wait and see thing. But my suspicion is yes, it will change. We'll see how